This lesson is going to be all about drawing rectangles with a given area and perimeter. So if you're told the area and perimeter of a rectangle that you need to draw, how will you find out what shape it should be? Well, we're going to learn how to do this. The first thing you should know is that anytime you have a question like this, you need to make a table. Awesome. You have to make a table to begin. So your table will look like this. Nice and neat, of course. I might be doing it not as neat as you will, but you'll do it nice and neat. There'll be 4 columns, and these columns will have length, width, area, and perimeter. Alright, here we go. Let's say that you're asked to create a rectangle that has an area of 18 centimeters squared and a perimeter of 22 centimeters. So your rectangle has to have both these things. It has to have an area of 18 centimeters squared and a perimeter of 22 centimeters. Well, the way we're going to do that is by filling in our table. So we can look at the area. We want an area of 18 centimeters squared. So I'm going to write that in a few times because that's what we want to find. Well, knowing our strategy of length times width equals area, what times what would give us 18? Well, if we start with 1, which is the easiest to start with, 1 times 18 gives us 18. Excellent. Well, let's find the perimeter of that rectangle. Remember that perimeter is length plus width times 2. That gives us our perimeter. So in my first example, 1 plus 18 is 19. And if I go 19 times 2, which is like 19 plus 19, I get 38. Alright, that does not match what we need. We need 18 centimeters squared for our area and 22 centimeters for our perimeter. So let's try another rectangle. What else could we multiply together to get 18? Well, I could multiply 2 times 9. That would give me 18 as an area. Excellent. What's the perimeter of that rectangle? Well, 2 plus 9 equals 11. And if I do 11 plus 11, because I double 11, I get 22. Perfect. Look at that. That matches what we need to find up here. So we have found the rectangle that matches what we need in 18 centimeters squared and 22 centimeter perimeter. This is the one right here. Good job. That's a terrible star, but you get the idea. Excellent job. That's the one. So the next job would be to draw it. So now I have my grid paper, and I'm going to neatly, with a ruler of course, if I were you, draw 2 centimeters long, 9 centimeters wide, and there's our rectangle, and I'm going to label it 2 by 9. And that's our rectangle that meets the criteria. It has an area of 18 centimeters squared and a perimeter of 22 centimeters. Excellent. Let's do one more example together. Okay, let's say that you are looking for a rectangle that has an area of 16 centimeters squared and a perimeter of 16 centimeters. Well, the first thing to do would be to draw a table. So let's take our time and draw a nice neat table. And our table should have 4 columns. And we're going to label our columns length, width, area, and perimeter. Excellent. Now we have some different options. Okay, so we want to find 16 centimeters squared. That's what we want for our area. So I'm going to write that in, 16 centimeters squared. So our strategy is length times width equals area. So what times what would give us the 16 that we want in our area? Well, if I start with 1, we should always start with 1. That's the easiest. I'm going to use red here. 1 times 16 gives me 16. Excellent. Now let's find the perimeter. Remember that perimeter is length plus width times 2. That's how we find our perimeter. So my length plus my width is 1 plus 16 is 17. And if I times that by 2, that's like 17 plus 17. I get 34. 34 centimeters. Okay, that does not meet the criteria, does it? No, because we want an area of 16 and a perimeter of 16 centimeters. Okay, well, let's try another one. I'm going to look for another rectangle that has an area of 16. What else could we do? Well, after 1, I could try 2. 2 times what gives me 16? 2 times 8. All right, that gives me an area of 16 because 2 times 8 equals 16. Now to find the perimeter, I go 2 plus 8 is 10, and I multiply that by 2. 10 times 2 is 20. So I have a perimeter of 20. All right, that does not meet the criteria either. So let's make another one. So I'm looking for another rectangle with an area of 16 centimeters squared. What else could I multiply to get 16? Well, if I try 3 times something does not equal 16, so I can't do that. But I could do 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Excellent. So there we have a 4 times 4, 16 centimeters squared for our area. Now remember, to find perimeter, length plus width, 4 plus 4 is 8, times 2. 8 times 2 is 16 centimeters. Excellent. So now look what I've done. I have found, I'm going to start there, I found the one that has our area that we want to find and our perimeter that we want to find. Next job is to draw it. So now with the ruler you could draw your rectangle, 4 long and 4 wide. And that meets the criteria. It has an area of 16 centimeters squared and a perimeter of 16. Excellent. So remember, when you do this, always start by drawing your table and finding all the possible rectangles with the given area, find their perimeter, and then you'll see which one matches the description that you need. Good luck and have fun.